Yeah, I'm your Black Lex today, baby. Now you ain't never gotta like me, that shit is overrated. You need a hero to love, I'll be the villain that you hated. When it's all said and done, you gon' love me. Me kissing babies, fucking ladies thinking of me. Cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the one that's supposed to lose. But I'm American, baby, so the rules all skewed for me. Steal your identity, fuck up your credit for free. Police know it's stolen, but they still make you pay the fee. And you don't respect me, for real? I'm the one that's showing you what the real world is. All these backroom deals for your kids' future. My financial aid hustle keep your kids mooching. And while you motherfuckers still stupid, the Statue of Liberty married the country, divorced and now the bitch still moving. With half of the money, alimony, child support. You know what's up when I be winning in the court, cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. They try to tell me thou shalt not steal. In the same church they tell me Jesus white, is they for real? They try to say the land of the free, minus the slavery, plus the fact that you pay for land these folks stole for free. And you wanna be Superman. Did you forget that Lex Luthor became the president? You lacking common sense, that's why the villain lives. That's why the villain's right. They turn on Superman, man, they turn on Jesus Christ. Even the devil got teams like Arizona State, Duke, the state of Jersey. The man say you're sold and he can't get a jersey. Y'all go to church on Sunday and you claim you're worthy. That's why I got my credit and I'm charging 10%. You finish paying me and you gon' pay me triple, bitch. So why'd I be a hero when a villain gets paid? And women like paid, so the villain gets laid. So I'ma be the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be.
What's happening? So, as you can see by the title, we're gonna have a conversation about Black America, and let's talk about self-hatred in a sense. So, here's the issue. As a Black man, I've just been watching our community for years and years and years, and I have these issues with watching us go in a different direction. And when I'm saying the different directions, I'm saying a lot of us are whitewashed. The community got whitewashed. We went from somewhere from being I'm Black and I'm proud to, it ain't right if we don't do it like white folks. And a lot of people suffered from that, or I can't say suffered, but are suffering from that. You get what I'm saying? So this touches as many topics as I'm gonna get to and probably more. All right. So going back to what I just said, you have Black folks who thought they can, if I got in a different class, if I got out of poverty, because Black was being synonymous with poverty. So, there was a time where people got into the middle class and the upper class and were Black people, and they had a clear understanding that, yeah, I'm just a Black person with money. I'm just a Black person, who lives better than other people in the community, but the money didn't make me non-Black. So something changed over time where people assumed, it ain't as bad as it used to be. It isn't as bad as when my parents and grandparents and great grandparents was alive. So when I level up and go to another class, oh my God, oh my God, it's different. I feel white now. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. So if you ever watch the show All American, um, show about football, like Tay Diggs is like Billy something, Billy Banks or Billy Blank, something like that. Billy Banks, I think. But he's a football coach, and Spencer is kid from the hood, quote unquote, but from his actual neighborhood, Tay Diggs' character. So what happens is Tay Diggs went to the NFL. He fits a stereotype. Went to the NFL, got a white wife, had a couple of kids that are now mixed, and they're all teenagers. And it's kind of like a football Fresh Prince of Bel-Air situation, because he's coaching like in Bel-Air or Hollywood or something like that. And Spencer moves there, but his son is the quarterback, and the police roll up on him, and he wants to exercise his right to, you can't talk to me like this, you can't treat me like this, I'm a citizen. And when they get back to the house, Spencer has to ask the coach, Tay Diggs' character, because Spencer ain't his son. And Spencer's like, yo, why you ain't never had this conversation with your son about how to how to communicate when he with the police? And Tay Diggs' character is like, I thought because I'm out here and I moved out here and I moved away from, the quote unquote hood, I could buy myself time to actually have these conversations about America. And him believing that he was just a nice suburban kid could have got him all killed. So that was a long-winded story, but the scene is on YouTube. It's like in the shorts. And the crazy part about it was, I know people like that. I know people who, I moved to the burbs, so guess what? We don't have to have these conversations about what happens to black people, because that's why I moved out here. So you'll never have to deal with America. And it's like, no, you just whitewashed your kid to think if you moved into the suburbs, they'll never have to deal with the racism American, because you found an enclave that you can move around in. That doesn't mean your kid gonna live there forever. They're gonna go out into the just United States of America, and they gonna find out what it is. So now you got that issue. You got people who play that class game, and now you see their kids who may be in their 20s, 30s, even 40s. Because we rewind the tape a little bit. That was the issue when people had an issue in the 80s with the Cosby Show, because they weren't really living in the hood in the Cosby Show, but they were just living in a nice neighborhood in New York. You get what I'm saying? Nice brownstone in New York. And it was, oh, black people don't live like that. The most depiction of black people need to be like good times, like living in the projects, which was stupid, because subsequently all these other shows had black people mostly in the hood, you know what I'm saying? But it was, family matters. That was black neighborhood. That was it. Black neighborhood, black neighbors. The houses were not dilapidated. You know what I'm saying? So that depiction over and over again. But as time went on, people had an issue with the Cosby Show, but they fell in love with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because, oh, I could be, I got a rich family that could take me out the hood. And it's like, oh my God, stop it. So now you have these conversations, which leads me to another part about family. We got whitewashed because we're not around our family as much anymore. And what I mean is, there was a time not that long ago when you would send your children, if you're in the South, you'll send them to the West Coast or the Midwest or the East Coast to be around other family members. And you'll find out how they live differently in the West Coast or the East Coast or the Midwest, right? Or vice versa. If you was in the Midwest, they send you to the South. You get what I'm saying? And if you was in the city, they sent you to your country family. So you really got to see America in multiple ways, because it's not the same everywhere. But somehow, I can't say somehow, I know how. Some people, moved on up and they didn't want to be around their quote unquote either country family or poor family, even when they were good people, right? And in some people, honestly, they couldn't trust their family members to take care of their kids like that. They just wouldn't trust them with their responsibility because sometimes people do stupid stuff. Like for instance, like if you had a family member that lived in L.A. and your kid's favorite color was blue, but they lived in Compton, and you can't be wearing blue like that. And they get there, and you don't tell them that you can't be wearing all them colors. You just let them walk outside the front door in blue, and they like, yeah, what's the big deal? I mean, they just because they not from here, because people used to get ran down on like that. You go somewhere, you're visiting from a different city, and then you're wearing you might wear something from your city, whether it be a hat, a t-shirt, a jacket. It's cool. You representing where you from per se, right? While you there, and that can cause an issue. Even in the burbs, because that's the same thing. When you send the kids out to the burbs and they go, oh, nothing's gonna happen to them in the burbs, and they get ran down on because no, I don't know you, and I don't know your family, and I don't know you from this neighborhood. You get what I'm saying? So you stop trusting the family as much to look after your kids because people were so whitewashed to think if I got out of Black America, my life is gonna be so white and so right. So that becomes an issue. I remember Isaiah Washington. I think it was Isaiah Washington. Sometimes I mix up Isaiah Washington and Sterling K. Brown. They're both actors. I remember there was a show, there was a news program, and Isaiah Washington was talking about, people getting pulled over, as a Black man getting pulled over by the cops. He was like, listen, how about we don't buy cars that they stereotype us in? What up, George? We don't buy these cars that people stereotype us in. We don't buy, the car that they swear Black folks drive, because if we buy those cars, they're gonna look for us to pull us over in general. And then you have some Black people, we was upset oh man, if I got the money and I want to buy me a da 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 da, and I want to roll around and have my windows down. It's a free country, and it's like you got whitewashed. You got whitewashed, dog. And people play that game where you don't have to ride in a Chevy with rims on it to be profiled as a Black man in America. If you got certain kind of cars, they assume either you are a reckless driver or you may or may not be Black. I remember I had a homeboy with a Corvette, and he had it tinted. And he used to tell his girlfriend, or his wife at the time, I think she was like Middle Eastern, or she was from the Mediterranean or whatever. He'd be like, listen, man, if I do certain things in this car, I'm gonna get pulled over. And she'd be like, what are you talking about? He said, the minute they can see me as a Black man in this car, they're gonna pull me over. And she was like, nah. And he said they were coming from somewhere, and he had a hat on. And windows rolled up, he had a hat on. And they rolled by the cops, and the cops looked at him, and they passed the light or whatever, and they could see the silhouette. And he told his wife, he said, yeah, we about to get pulled over. She like, for what? He said he saw me in his car. I'm a Black man. He saw a Black man in the Corvette. I gotta pull him over. And she's like, that's not gonna happen. And what happened? He got pulled over. And she's trying to be like, what did you do? And he's like, nothing. They recognized I was a Black man in this car, so they pulled me over. So if you fit the profile of, if you don't quote unquote fit the profile in certain things, people have an issue. So, why y'all think people running away from Dodge right now? You can't have a Challenger or a Charger or a Cherokee, Challenger, Charger, Cherokee. Yeah. I feel like I was missing a car. Because that's what them Negroes be riding, and they all get them Dodges. You're not hearing that about a Camaro SS right now. You're not hearing the same thing about a Mustang. You're not hearing the same thing about a Godzilla. Exactly. You're not hearing that. So when people go, okay, I need to do something different, people go, but I'm black, but this is America, and in America, I could do whatever I want. And that's what I mean by Black America got whitewashed. I don't know what happened to make y'all think that America gonna be fair to you now. Once you've entered that realm as a Black person, that you think America is good, I'm an American, and this is America, and I'm part of the country. You're a fool. You're stupid. And y'all raising y'all kids this way, and y'all kids are stupid. And see, when I say this is a generational thing, some of y'all don't even realize y'all got programmed to be whitewashed. And this works on both sides. It's not just a situation where if you ultra suburban, you whitewash. No, if you ultra hood nowadays, you whitewash. Because there are people who are trying to be hood because they feel like being, super hood is the antithesis of being white. And it's like, bruh, calm down. Calm down. This is why I grew out my hair this way. This is why I got these gold teeth. This is why I got my tattoos, because I want to be the antithesis of being white. And it's like, bruh, that's not the antithesis of being white. I hate to break the news to you. I really hate to break the news to you. You're just trying to fit the most ignorant stereotype of a Black person. For what reason? So now it's like, you become whitewashed, and you got other Black people in Black America who raise their kids the same way. You ain't gotta you ain't gotta do it. You ain't gotta do it the white way. That's not the right way. You can do it the complete opposite, but the complete opposite don't make it the Black way of doing things. See what I'm saying? A lot of y'all think that doing the opposite of white folks is the Black way of doing things. That's not true. That's not true whatsoever. Give me 1 second. So that's a whole nother different aspect of it. Sorry about that. And the reason why I have to say it that way is because I've seen that too. Like I was at the gym like a day or two ago, and this Black dude like doing a country video, but he got like wicks in his head and it looked like he had gold teeth, and he a Black dude looking ultra Florida, but dancing like a white dude doing country. And I'm sitting there looking at myself, and I'm like, you got whitewashed. And see, a lot of y'all don't want to hear that, because a lot of y'all thought, because it was white, it was more culture. That's why I can say this just as a music fan. I understand why country blew up the way it did, because they got the best songwriting right now. That's just my opinion. But am I listening to country like that? Absolutely not. So that's a whole nother thing. But when I see so many Black folks gravitate to stuff that I remember we didn't gravitate to, and the underlying reason a lot of times that y'all gravitate to this stuff is because you don't want to be around Black folks. And some of y'all don't want to be around Black folks because you wasn't raised around Black folks. So you're more quote unquote comfortable with white folks. And the issue becomes what? When you put yourself in those situations, when it becomes racial, you look like a fish out of water, like you're a deer in the headlights. Because you're like, this is not a racial situation. It's like, yes, it is. What are you talking about? So now it's white, so now you become whitewashed, because now you like, if you see too many Black people, I can't have a good time. But if you see a bunch of white people, I can have a good time. It's like, nah, that's not true. The opposite used to be what it was. Like, hey man, you can't be if you Black, you can't be the singular Black person around, especially if you hanging out and partying, white people are drinking, because once they get too drunk, they probably gonna attack you. That was a known thing. That was a known thing throughout Black America. But now we've went the complete opposite direction. And it's like, yo, why would y'all let them just be alone with them folks when they get, while they drinking and partying like that? Why? Oh my goodness. I didn't think anything would happen. It's like, why not? Because let me guess, they're white people, so nothing ever happens negatively when black people are around white people, right? Because they're good white people from the good area, or they're just white people in general. It's like, cut it out. See, this is what I mean by people got whitewashed. Because you see it even on YouTube, and you see people who could be considered, if you Black American, you could be considered a coon. You see people who are black, who are black, but let's just say immigrants or come from an immigrant background, and you see it in the whole political debate. You see it how people tailor their pages because if I go to tailor it to white people, when you'll see a man or a woman who's black, and they'll have a video, and it'll be black people in the video, reaction video. Black people did something. Look at them black people. That's why I don't hang out with them ninjas. And I'm sitting there like, yep. And then a month later, they have the same video with white people doing the exact same thing, and it's trifling. And they go, I don't know what happened. We got to get to the bottom of what's going on. I mean, this seem that good white people. They just made an honest mistake. It's like, oh yeah, you got whitewashed, because being whitewashed online pays. It pays to be whitewashed online. It's the same thing politically, right? And I'm saying this on both sides. Yeah, the ruckus laugh. No, it ain't just Tatum. It ain't just Tatum. That's a big market. That's a huge market. Yeah, I'm getting there. So now we had this issue where you got us as a people, even politically, like, oh, if you vote for the Democratic Party, you're on the plantation. But vote for the Republicans and get off the plantation. And I'm sitting there looking like, we didn't used to do that. Yeah, they definitely do it too. Absolutely do it. They absolutely do that. So now we're in a situation where politically you could see people being whitewashed. You could see it. They're for one side or they're for the other side. And it's so, for me, I'm looking like, come on now, let's break this down. Why do black people vote Democrat? And it's like, oh, that was the party of slavery. America was the party of slavery. Hate to break the news to you. America was the party of slavery. That's just like if you black and you don't know black history. Oh, the racism was just in the South. If you black and you hear that, you're like, what are you talking about? Who told you that retarded stuff? Racism was just in the South, and only time you're gonna deal with racism is when you're in the South. You on crack. But this is where people go, right? You rewrite history and you make it like, what's happening isn't happening, right? So, and the reason I had to add the political part and say what I just said was for this reason. So now we're at a point where you got the former president, the current president, talking about you ain't black if you don't vote for me. You got and you got the presidential candidate, black-ish cosplaying. You get what I'm saying? And then you got the other candidate like, hey, what do you got to lose, right? And none of this really caters to black people at all, but it just makes certain people feel like they're part of the program. Now, here's what I mean about the Democratic thing. What it was people voted for the Democratic Party because we were predominantly in poverty. That's what happened. So we were voting for policies that help poor people, to help get us out of poverty. So that's what happened. So when you see these democratic political agendas that's helping everybody else, basically what they use Black America as a sacrificial lamb to say, anybody who's ever struggling in the country, just Black people need to help them. because that's quote unquote our struggle. And this is what I mean by, Black America got whitewashed, because it came to the place now we're, because white people, now we're every non-black and black person's savior, because we got to go to bat for everybody. And somehow we play this religious game like we're going to sacrifice ourselves for everybody's greater good. And it's like, that's stupid. That's dumb. And then at the same time, you're getting manipulated by other white people. It don't even make sense. If you do this, black folks, one day, something will happen. It's like, stop it. And that's why the brainwashing, part of it is a religious thing. Because when you look at religion in America, part of being whitewashed was a religious thing. When you had all the white Jesus pictures and the white disciples or apostles, gods white, all the angels white. You get what I'm saying? And black people started breaking out of that brainwashing, like, nah, bruh. Because that started, I would say, probably in the 50s and the 60s, I would say. Like, Jesus ain't black, because people started reading the Bible, right? So that's why you get that scene in Malcolm X when Denzel was playing Malcolm and he was talking to the chaplain or whatever, like, Jesus wasn't a pale face. So people started slowly coming out of that brainwashing, because what it was everything was good was white and everything bad was black, right? So people started pulling away from that and pulling away from that and pulling away from that. And part of but what we didn't pull away from was the suffering narrative. Like, if you're a Christian, you have to suffer. If you black, you gotta suffer, and everybody suffers, and everybody suffers until they die and get into heaven. But when you look out into the world, everybody's not suffering like that. Doesn't make sense. And I can say it on the opposite end of the spectrum. That's why you had so many black people switch over to Islam. It was Malcolm, Muhammad Ali, of course, Farid Muhammad. Sorry if I said it wrong. I'm tired right now. But Khalid Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan had people going there because it was anti-white Christianity. So you're gonna be less whitewashed if you go down this, this Islamic path. And even those brothers had to figure out that, this is the non-white religion that follows God, but at the same time, there's racism in the religion. It took them years to put that on the table, but that's why you see the Nation of Islam is different from just, Islam itself. So now you got Rastafarism. For some it might be. So now we got, since I'm not anti Jesus, but I'm anti Christianity because of its racism, right? So now we got to worship different, because like they said back in the day, the most segregated day in America is Sunday at noon. And as you see now, because churches wanted to make more money, they took the white Jesus out of the church. If you go to church, you hard pressed to find a white Jesus. Black church, white church, you hard pressed to find a white Jesus. So now, with the religious aspect of it, now it's on us to find the quote unquote spiritualities. And what happens is we got whitewashed to think, just getting oppressed is part of God's plan. And one day God gonna come and save us, but not today. And but we forget was back in the day, Black America has always been highly spiritual, highly religious, but we also made sure we worked on it today. It wasn't, I'm gonna wait till heaven to get. Nope. Black folks was like, nope, we ain't even playing that game. I'm going at it today. What the heck? Hold on for 1 second. What the fuck's going on? I'm gonna make a statement that has nothing to do with the topic. If any of y'all do crypto, they're saying this, there's a bull run about to come. Boy, these hackers are out here, boy. they trying to get your stuff. Let me tell you that. But that has nothing to do with the topic. I just had to say it because you get these messages. So, but let me get back to it. So part of this religious aspect of people have an issue. People have an issue because they believe in the BS story. You don't know religion if you think Jesus represents all races. But that's what I mean. Sometimes, like, this belief that this kumbaya belief, or the idea that even the concept of not, race is just, I don't see anything but color. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. So let me move forward to something else. And I hate talking. I hate having to say this. I really do. I hate having to say this. Black America got whitewashed because a lot of Black America is comfortable now. See, it's not like back in the day where everybody is like relegated to the hood, right? So you got people living a bunch of different lives in separate places. And what happened was, y'all don't really check in like that. And I ain't talking about, I'm checking it with family and friends, not the neighborhood. And I've seen this over and over and over and over again. Some of y'all can see the signs of being whitewashed. We used to make fun of the ladies when they used to walk around with blonde hair. Dead to right sign that you being whitewashed, because you think, somehow if I color my hair blonde, I'm gonna feel different and America's gonna treat me different, and I have a different feeling in my life because blonde is the color of fun. And it's like, that's retarded, but whatever. People used to wear the different color contacts, and we used to make fun of. I ain't gonna say we did make fun of. I'll get to that in a second. And now you're seeing the boys coloring their hair, and I want to express myself. And what I mean is, we're starting to become what we used to make fun of, and that's a dead sign that you got whitewashed. Because a lot of y'all don't remember this. Some of y'all might not remember this. We used to make fun of white kids because white kids would talk back to their parents. You know what I'm saying? White kids would talk back to their parents. I hate you, mom. Forget you. F you. Kiss my ass, dad. And we used to be like, man, these white kids crazy. But now what you're seeing is Black kids doing that. And it's like, oh, you believe you ain't gonna get knocked out because y'all made it comfortable for these kids to think that, I can express myself. And now they're trying to express themselves like white kids. And it's like, no, you finna get your teeth knocked out. I'm gonna just say this. Christianity and Judaism started in Ethiopia. There's an African Bible. There's an Ethiopian Bible, which is basically the original. So that's your lesson for the day. I'm going. So now when the kids are starting to rebel like white kids be looking, then I remember we used to make fun of these white kids like, yo, here we go. I need to travel the world and backpack, and I need to find myself. And now what you see a bunch of Black kids and adults doing, I need to travel the world and find myself and see things, and I need to go around. And now y'all taking these crazy drugs, and now you want to do ayahuasca because I'm looking for a deeper meaning. And the reason why you're looking for that is because, you've been sheltered. And that's part of being quote unquote whitewashed. Like, when the Black experience wasn't sheltered from the realities of America and the realities of the world. But now we've entered a space where you have a bunch of people in Black America that are actually sheltered. They really don't know um how the world really is, because they've been in their little bubble their whole lives. So now when they get out into the world, they like, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know, man. And it's the same thing. Like I said, it's on the flip side. It's the same thing. We used to say the same thing about people in the hood. Like some people was in the hood and they would never leave the hood. It's like, bro, what the world is not this square mile, or this 3 square miles or 5 square. You got to get out of there. No, I can't do it. People get uncomfortable, right? Because they felt like, I couldn't, the world is out there and there's other people out there and there's them white folks out there. And if I go out of this little bubble, I can't, the white folks got me. And it's like, bro, shut up. Get your goofy butt up out the house and go somewhere. Yeah, exactly. That's the exact point, Shark. Being white don't work for black people. But we're at a space where black people swear they're trying to be white and they're surprised when it ain't working. And here's the other thing. This whole aspect of, getting your education. That was people have turned getting the education into a class issue. You know what I'm saying? People used to tell you back in the day, go to school to get an education, to get a job, because we were in science, technology, not education, but engineering and mathematics, and we were doing a bunch of trades. So when men would go to school, we did a lot of that, and plus it was easier to get your let's just say certified in trades, and it was easier back in the day to become a lawyer and even a doctor. But then they started adding all this stuff to it because they wanted to keep people out. Same thing with the trades. You could get your certification, you go to trade school, get it certified, but they started making it more difficult and more difficult. And when we started even passing that, that's how they start paying Latinos under the table. That's why you see, what the heck? Okay. That's why you started seeing so many quote unquote, Mexicans at Home Depot, because they were paying them under the table. They didn't want to pay you the full price. No, we still in the we black men are still in the trades. It's just you don't have to be, if you're Hispanic, you don't have to be certified. People act like they're paying actual like certified tradesmen when they come into your house and doing stuff. These people ain't certified. They're not. So, and that's a whole nother thing. But when it came to that part, people got, we got kind of whitewashed in that belief that if you go to school and get an education, now you could just pontificate the rest of your life. And that's why people talk about now that the degrees that don't really mean anything, because now people are going to school to get an education and just say they got educated, but they don't really have a skill. And the reason, because they saw so many unskilled, educated white people, and they figure, hey man, I could be unskilled and educated too, and just walk around talking for a living. And you see it now. You see it how people are now. I went to school, I got an education, I got a degree, and you're like, but you still stupid. Like, it don't make sense. How you this stupid? And thus the debt part of it comes into. That's where the debt comes in, because school wasn't as expensive, and people will hire you. If you're white, if you graduate college and you got a degree, and somebody white stops in 2 years and gets an associate's, they'll probably get a job before you at the same company. That's the part of racism. So this idea that, if I go to school and I get an education, and I get a degree, I'm a shoe-in for corporate America. That's not true. That's why you see so many black people in, let's just say when the pandemic happened, essential jobs, because most corporate jobs don't really do anything. That's why most corporate jobs don't pay like blue collar jobs, because they don't really do anything. So now we got black America got whitewashed to think if I get an education, I'm in there. But then it's on the flip side of that. You got folks, like I said earlier, who want to rebel and be the complete opposite, and they play the Jay-Z didn't go to college, game. You know what I'm saying? Some of your richest black people never got an education, game. And it's like, if you don't shut up, being a high school dropout don't mean, if you believe you can be a high school dropout and become a millionaire because Jay-Z did it, the reason you was a high school dropout because you was stupid. That's why you saying that stupid stuff now. That's what, you know, because you brainwash to think if I don't get an education, if I don't work, I could still hustle my way up to the top. And it's like, that's not how that works, man. That's not how that works, playboy. So you want to be the antithesis, you know, because going to school make you white. So let me be black and not go to school and not get an education, and I'm gonna figure something out. It's like, no, you gonna wind up in a real bad situation, bro. Real bad. You know, and it's like, so this is what I mean by Black America got whitewashed. So now you got people in debt from school because they ain't do it, you know, because they wouldn't know, you know, they wanted to be a pontificator. And then you have people who, I ain't going to school, and they're like, bro, what we supposed to do? It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to figure something out now. I get it. So now is what I mean by, you know, Black America got whitewashed, because now you got generations of people playing this game, playing both sides of the fence. So now you got suburban kids who want to have blonde hair and gold teeth, and I'm the new black. I'm expressing myself, and it's like, bro, you're an idiot. You know, you had the girls like, I listen to goth music and I wear black all the time, and I'm different from them other black people. No, you just whitewashed. You ain't got, being goth is not the antithesis to being black. Like some of y'all, oh, I want to go mudding, oh, because you don't see any black people doing it. You know why we don't do mudding? Because the people who do mudding, somebody got to pay for that car. It never dawned on you, going out in these cars in the mud and rock climbing, somebody got to pay for that car because the suspension gonna go out. The transmission gonna get hit by something. You know, the muffler's gonna get clogged with mud and the stuff not gonna run. But guess what? What the stereotype with those people is what? Mommy, daddy's gonna pay for it, but you're gonna be out there looking a fool. So now, this is what I mean by some of y'all got too whitewashed. Because the idea of being free in America is being white. And when somebody made the comment earlier, we turning into Asians and it's weird. You know, we turn into all them other, because we watched all these other groups of people come to this country and we like, hey man, we used to warn all them other groups. We used to warn Hispanics, we used to warn Asians, we warned Arabs, we warned, you know, pretty much everybody. We warned everybody who's non-white, like, hey, these people ain't gonna never accept you for being white. If you think you're gonna turn around and be white and you're gonna feel the freedoms of America, boy, you're gonna have another thing coming, because they're gonna use you and then they're gonna step on you or stab you in the back. But everybody played the game like, well, guess what? How about I'm white enough to stab you in the back and get covered from white people? And it's like, oh, okay. But remember, you stab me in the back, I'm out of there. So you're gonna be on your own. Don't call me back with the brother. Brother, we need you. So now you got black folks playing this game. Black folks playing this game like, oh, you know, if you're black, I don't do regular things that black people do. Like, what does that mean? Even when it comes to eating, like people play the game where, you know, now you ashamed of being black when it comes to eating. Like, I've never seen a day when white people could teach black people how to cook. That is crazy, especially black food. You know, you got white people frying chicken, and that's so stereotypical, right? No, forget all that. You got white people making gumbo. You white people, you know, making ribs, and this is how you do it. Black people looking like, man, what did you talk about? And then you got other black people. You guys season too much. It's the salt. It's bad for your health, and that's why you have all of these issues. No, Nah, bro, we don't eat that stuff all day, every day. We don't eat that stuff all day, every day. That's for that's for get-togethers and cookouts. We're not walking around eating bad every day. But it's an American thing to eat bad every day. And what I and the reason why I gotta say this, exactly, Shadow, exactly. So now we gotta have these conversations with people like being black, because you got black people who think being black is all negative stuff, all negative, and it's like, bro, cut it out. And this is where, for me, I say, some people are, we got Black America got whitewashed, because I get into that just quickly when people go, well, are you talking because of the way I speak and my diction and how I carry myself? No, I'm talking about your thought process. People can speak with good vernacular and still have common sense of what it is to be black in America. You folks think y'all done got whitewashed to the point where y'all actually mentally, y'all not black in America no more. I don't want to take on a victim mentality. Don't take on a victim mentality. But when your goofy ass get pulled over, when you can see the cop ready to shoot you because you black, don't play the game of, what are you doing? I'm not a victim, sir. You can't talk to me like that. And they hit your ass upside the head and jam you up, and you sitting in the back of the car, but I didn't do anything. I complied. It's like, bruh, you black in America. You know they was looking for anything, right? But I'm different. No, the fuck you're not. Stop. You got whitewashed to believe you're different from other black people. If you got an education, you're different. If you're in the upper class, you're different. If you don't have black friends, you're different. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't raised in the hood, I'm different. It's like, okay, all right, man. I listen to rock music. I'm different. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's true. So now we got a bunch of black folks, like I said, got whitewashed. And part of that, and some of y'all don't know y'all parents did that to y'all. See, some of y'all, you don't know nothing but being whitewashed because your parents really indoctrinated you. Because your parents wasn't whitewashed, but your parents had a self-hate issue. So when they had you, they went extreme and had you out here, hating everything that because they told you all a bunch of, everything that was black was negative because they didn't want to be black. So your norm is, I'm not black. I don't have a black experience. I live I have a cultured life. And it's like, oh my God, you don't realize you got played. You're not even you as a person. You're what your parents made you. And some people catch on and some people don't. Right? So that's a whole nother thing though. I don't like a person's like Candace Owens isn't actually whitewashed. She's opportunist. But like I said earlier, like I get that with those people who play that game, because you can see, like I would say, like Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, and maybe even the Hodge twins. I don't know, but I think, I'm not 100% sure. But when you get black people who wind up getting non-black spouses and having kids with non-black people, they kids gonna get that nigga moment. And all of that caping for white folks is not gonna save it. My kid is mixed. Listen, if you black and you mess with somebody white and you have a mulatto baby, white America gonna see that baby as black. I don't know why you playing this game. You like, because some of y'all have that. Some of y'all actually got with white people because of, say, self-hate issues, or Hispanics because of self-hate, or Asians because of self-hate. Sometimes it wasn't just you fell in love, and you can tell the difference. Some people just fell in love with somebody of a different race. That's what it is. Other people, they seeking that stuff out because I don't want to be black, and if I have a spouse that isn't black, it makes me feel less black. If you have kids that aren't black or not, or black-ish, we're not black. Y'all playing that La Raza game, and you're not Hispanic, let's purify the race by getting somebody white. It's like, whatever, man. And then at some point, you overlook the racism from 0 to 5, and then when that kid hit 15 and they dealing with racism, you don't know what to say. Like, stop, man, stop. Listen, let me push this in another direction. Being black in America, you could be unapologetically black. You didn't have to cater to white people to be successful in America. You accepted that you wasn't going to be white, and you never be seen as white. So, you just rock with people who rock with you. And if people of all races rock with you, that's cool. If they don't, they don't. But now you're seeing people trying to play this I'm assimilated game. I'm assimilated game. He said, bro, I'm black in America. It's everybody burn their bridge with us. Don't burn down the bridges of race in America with all of this racism and slavery and Jim Crow and backstabbing of black people. But now, because everybody is suffering now, man, don't burn the bridge. Man, that bridge been burnt. Cut it out. Cut it out. That bridge burned. If I took my ass to a car lot right now, I can guarantee you if there's a non-black person trying to sell me a car and trying to make me pay way more than it's worth because stick it to a nigger. That's America, man. I told a story before about my mother. My mother and my stepfather, they were selling one of their houses. And my mom lived their house was in a suburban area, in Chicago, and that's outside of Chicago. And I told her, I said, hey, you got to take all the pictures down of all the black people in the house. Not just the family picture. You got to take down the paintings. My mother's like, what? And this is a crazy thing, because sometimes we got to tell our parents this because they get comfortable too. I'm like, listen. It's a nice house. It's a really nice house. But the minute they see somebody black living in that house, they're going to devalue that house. And this was years ago. This was maybe this was before the pandemic. Maybe a year or two before the pandemic. And my mother didn't want to hear me at first, right? She didn't want to hear me at first. And then, first realtor came, second realtor came. And I'm the resident blackity black man in my family at times. And my mom has that thing, well, these are good white people. These are good white people, which, like, I be telling you, yeah, you tripping. These are good white people, my ass. And by the time she got to the third realtor, she realized, because her neighbor's house sold for, say, this amount, and they got a better house than that. So then they gave them like $50,000 to $80,000 under what they paid the neighbors. And she was like, wait, what? I said, I told your ass that they was gonna screw you because you black. You wanted to keep all your black pictures up, and the minute they came there, they was gonna devalue it to give it to somebody white on a discount. So when she got to the third realtor, she was like, oh, I got rid of them because I saw what they was trying to do. I was like, didn't I tell you that 3 months ago? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, come on. It's the suburb, like, and I appreciate you saying that because Prince George is dope to me, but I'm gonna tell you why. When it's too, we don't look at the suburbs as ghetto when they white. And for a person who's been living in the burbs for maybe about 17, 18 years and been around the burbs for like half of my life now, I've been around them because I grew up in the hood, but the burbs is ghetto as a motherfucker. It's just we don't look at it as ghetto because white people stay there. It's like the burbs do some ghetto ass shit. The burbs get because of racism in America. The burbs just gets away with a lot of shit that's just ridiculous. When you're in the suburbs and you see it, white people walk around smoking weed all the time. all the fucking time. Let me tell you, the only difference I would say with this is, I would say when you in the suburbs, um, people know when to stop sometimes. And what I mean by that is this: when you in the hood, people call the police on you. Even when you're in the suburbs, if you black, people call the police on you. But when you're in the suburbs, people have this thing where they take it in the house before they even before they know they about to get the police called. So that's the interesting thing about like the suburbs. Like they get high as hell out here in the suburbs. They get high as hell. They be on weed, they be on coke, they be on meth, they be on fentanyl, they be drunk as hell. But what happens is we look at it as regular day-to-day activity. That's the biggest difference, you know. So for me, when I'm out here, I'm like let me say this. I ain't seen so many people getting head-on collisions in my damn life. And in the suburbs, the roads are better and they're wider. So we're in the hood where it could be like one street, no middle line. In the suburbs, it's like two different sides. It's 4 lanes and a divider in the middle. You get what I'm saying? So, and I've seen so because mugs be drunk and high, driving all the time, racing all the time. People be in the store stealing all the damn time. It's just when you white, like, and I said this back in the day, like, white people put their crime in the paper because nobody reads the paper anymore. It's not on the news. They put us black people on the news. So when you assume that the suburbs is nice, it's not. It just looks better. It's the hood though, because they get away with most shit out here. They racing cars out in this motherfucker, wrecking cars. They getting busted for robbing Home Depots. Like I told y'all years ago, I told y'all this story, and this is what I mean by Black America being whitewashed. How Black America got whitewashed. I was working, and they had a bank. They had 2 banks that opened, like a Bank of America. I want to get it right. I think it's a Bank of America and a bank that was called Sterling Bank back in the day. So they just opened these 2 banks. It's like a Sterling Bank, a Panda Express, and then a Bank of America, right? And I walked, and I was there like when they first opened. And I walked in there because I was working, and I had to go there. And I looked, and I said, "Hey, man," and I'm looking around. Not really, the cameras not really in the right places. The security guard, one had a security guard, one didn't. It was ultra relaxed, and it was like, yo. And I went back to work. I said, "Hey, man, somebody gonna rob that bank." And they were like, "What? That bank that just opened on such and such?" I said, "Yeah, somebody finna rob that bank." And I was like, why would you say that? And I said, "Okay, watch." About a month later, a dude robbed both of the banks on a 10-speed and got away scot-free. And it was like, and it came back to me, "How you know that?" I said, "Cuz y'all white people too comfortable. Y'all don't have security like that. Y'all got y'all cameras out of place." So the white dude came in there on a bike, robbed one bank, drove the bike to the next one that was like 100 meters away, robbed that one, and rode off on the bike scot-free. And and they couldn't find him. Why they can't find him? Because he white. Because when you white, you just blend in. It's a white guy on a 10-speed with big bags of money. You can't find him. And it was an apartment complex right behind the bank. So in my mind, I'm like, bruh, if he got away, that's because he lived in the apartments right behind the bank. It ain't that far of a ride, buddy. But it's like, and knowing them, he might have went to a bank. He could have, he went to a different bank and just deposited that money like nothing. It's crazy. But I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I forgot about talking about that. One of the reasons why I say Black America got whitewashed is because when I was talking about being assimilated, you had people who wanted other Black people to assimilate, to look and act non-threatening to white people. So you already put yourself in a position where if you're black, you scare these nice, good white folks. You gotta wear your hair like this, wear your clothes like this, walk like this, talk like this, give off this impression. And it's like, man, bruh, just be your damn self. I hate to break the news to you, but once you black and you believe that you gotta walk, talk, and dress a certain way to make white people comfortable, they just look at you as, neutered. It's just like, and I said it just as the opposite. If y'all think, wearing your hair a certain way or dressing a certain way, or you trying to look intimidating, wearing tattoos is gonna scare white folks. I don't know why, because y'all not around white people like that. Let me tell you something. The most whitewashed black people that I've ever come across are really black people who are thugs. They've always been the scariest, like they've been gangster with black folks. I can't go over there because the white folks over there. Hey man, don't you ever go to jail? Because them white folks, man, they're gonna straighten you out in jail. Yes, they're gonna make you say yes sir, no sir. You got to act like you got some sense now. You can't do all that stuff around them white folks. It's like, bro, shut your dumb ass up. So that's part of the premise. Like, some of y'all been whitewashed to the point that when I'm being black is I could just be as ignorant as I want to be around black folks, but when I'm around white folks, I need to act like I got some sense. It's like, what? Why don't you just act like you got sense every fucking day when you with everybody? No, you gotta act like you got sense around these white folks. And it's like, okay, all right, you goddamn slave. that's how I come, like, you a goddamn slave. Then people don't realize, when they talk about people who are ultra suburban, like you call those people sellouts, but I call people, who want to be ultra hood, these sellouts, because I can act, I could sit down at a table and act like I got sense because I don't want to offend these nice people. Man, shut your bitch ass up. That's part of it. Like, I used to talk about that, like with the voice part. You don't need to change it. Like, if you from the West Coast, to everybody else in America, you talk proper because that's just the West Coast accent. Like, everywhere has an accent. You get what I'm saying? If you from the South, you're gonna have a Southern accent. You from the Midwest, you're gonna have a Midwestern accent. You from the East Coast, you're gonna have an East Coast accent. So this idea when you black, wherever you from, now you got to put on this standard white voice. It's crazy. We don't do that as much anymore. But the code switching thing, that's crazy. If I'm in New Orleans and everybody in New Orleans, and then I get around white people in New Orleans, then I go, "Hi, sir. I'm having a great day. How are you doing?" That white motherfucker still talk with a New Orleans accent, just for the record. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing. Like, you notice I don't see code switching with New Yorkers because everybody got a New York accent. It's like, so it don't make sense to me. And I get, and even I get the stereotype sometimes when you can't understand a person, you think they're dumb. Because like, if you got an accent, if you from the South and you go to the Midwest, people could probably understand you. But if you go to the East or the West Coast, you're gonna have to slow down how you talk. You're gonna have to enunciate those words a little bit better. You're gonna have to enunciate those words a little bit better. Because people are gonna look at you. What'd you say? It's the same thing. Like when I was in high school and college, I had teachers who came from different countries, whether it be Africa, Asia, the Caribbean. It's the same premise. Like, people go, I can't understand the teacher, and he's like, you got to listen harder. You're gonna have to slow down, because I know what it's like to, I know what it's like to, because it's like when you're in the South and you have an accent and you go to the country in the South and you look at somebody like, I know we both from the South, but what this motherfucker just say? What did you do? Wait, what? He said da 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 da. What? How the fuck you? How you understand that shit? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like I got friends, that are Caribbean, and I can understand the dialect. But if somebody, they're in a room with like all Jamaicans and they all start talking too fast, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he just said. Same thing when you're around Spanish people. You catch some words when people talking Spanish, it's like, oh, cool. And then you get a bunch of Spanish people, bro, I don't know nothing just happened. They talking too fast. It's the same premise. But let me move on to something else though, because this is this is part of it. Yeah. Trust me, I know. So this the other thing. So, and this is my fault, but it was hilarious. So we had our wedding like 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, and I got to call her too. I got to call my best man died. One of my best mans passed away. My best man actually passed away 17 years ago. That's my best friend. And when my little cousin was one of the groomsmen, he passed away like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. But they were still part of the wedding. But my best man's mother came up to me. He said, "Man, y'all ain't gonna do the money dance?" Now, a lot of y'all, if you're not, I would say it's a Southern thing, but I would say, but that's more of a Louisiana thing. So you know how at weddings you see like they had the African weddings, like the Nigerian weddings, they throw the money at the wedding. They do that in Louisiana. So so I was like, look, I don't even know if half these people know what the money dance is because everybody ain't from here, ain't from New Orleans. You get what I'm saying? So make a long story short, because my wife didn't know what that money dance was either. So then one of my friends, they was having speeches or whatever. And one of my friends was like, yo, the drove hilarious. One of my friends got up and they got the mic. It's like, no, we got to do the money dance. So ironically, they kicked it off. And the reason why I say that is because I was sitting there and I was like, look, we're gonna do the electric slide, we're gonna do some Frankie Beverly and Mays, we're gonna step a little bit, we're gonna do a little second line, we're gonna do this, that, and the third, right? Yeah, for us, that's not African. We didn't know that they did that in Africa. That's just a New Orleans thing. That's a Louisiana thing. People don't realize it, but some of the things I guess do translate. But the money dance is one of them. So the reason I'm saying that is because I laugh because at the end of the day, we had black people that like, Slide L is a New Orleans accent. Now Thibodeau and Homer, Hanville, Destrehan, yeah. Booty, yeah. Cologne, oh Lord, I know. Hanville, yeah, I said, but that's a whole nother story. So now we at this point where, jollof rice is not jambalaya. I can tell you that right now. It is not jambalaya. I get the similarity, but it is not jambalaya. And because me and some Africans used to talk about that. They be like, y'all food and our food are kind of the same. And it's like, no. It's not the same. Because Louisiana food is different. Let me say this about just Black America. Louisiana food is completely different from Black American food other places. Okay, that's just a fact. The closest thing you're gonna get to Louisiana food in America will probably be South Carolina, probably, and that don't even taste the same. So understand that, like, we as a Black American, we got our cooking goes with different. It ain't even just regions; they go from different states. So the South to the part of the South, I would say from Texas going northeast, like to Tennessee, even North Carolina, and up all the way up to Chicago. it like kind of like what was that, the Louisiana Purchase? That's where you get all your barbecue at. You get what I'm saying? Barbecue is, macaroni and cheese. That was actually an East Coast thing. That wasn't really a Southern thing. You get what I'm saying? But it became everything. The fried chicken, of course, is a Southern thing. A lot of y'all don't excuse me. Southern low key live. Yeah, I can see that. In some ways we do. What's good? Like we have, East Coast, that's kind of Southern cooking mixed with West Coast cooking, mixed with Midwest cooking, because the ingredients are different. That's what I was really getting at. Black America cooks differently because we have different ingredients in different parts of America. Like it's stuff in Louisiana, in that region, as far as seasoning goes, that you're not gonna find other places. You ain't gonna really, you're not gonna find filet in Nashville. Yeah, I live in Houston, man. Houston is all right, but Houston is just a hodgepodge. It's a mix of Louisiana, it's a mix of Mexico, and it's a mix of barbecue culture. So it's a hodgepodge. It's a hodgepodge, but it ain't. But I can guarantee you, it ain't Louisiana food. He said we do collard greens. Yeah, I mean, yeah, y'all. But the reason why I got to say that, because Louisiana, you eat gator. We eat gator in Louisiana. You go eat some garfish. You might eat gator in Florida too. I'm pretty sure you do. You know what I'm saying? But it's a difference when people say, if somebody say they Creole, that's more black. If somebody say they Cajun, that's white. So Creole and Cajun is just a black version and a white version of Cajun is French white people mixed with maybe Italian, white people who mix with French and Italian, right? Creole is black people that could just be black people mixed with the natives, or black people who, mix with French and Italian, or just black people from that area. Real talk. Hey, boy, you talking that shit. I might, but that's the whole thing about that. So even when we get to when I say the whitewash thing, I'm gonna tell you why partially I'm saying that. And I'm glad, brother from Florida, watch this. In America, gold teeth came either from Louisiana or Florida. That's who wore gold teeth. People from Louisiana, predominantly in Florida. And when they wore gold teeth, they wore permanents. That's what happened. When you had gold teeth, you eat from all the way up until the 90s. If you had gold teeth, people knew one or two things. You was either from Louisiana or Florida. There wasn't no gold teeth in Georgia. There wasn't no gold teeth in New York. Exactly. So when people started wearing grills and all that stuff, that's because people didn't want to wear permanents. Because people in Louisiana and Florida, they wore permanents. So even the hairstyles, in Louisiana and Florida, it was different. So that's a different type of black. You have people with the they'll have people with the fangs, and the gold teeth actually went back to funerals. Like when you died, you had the gold in your mouth. It could pay. They could take some of the teeth out to pay for the funeral, or they take the gold out and use that as cash or whatever. So so it became a status symbol. Like it went from that to how many golds I got means how much money I got. You know what I'm saying? That's what that was. That was the gold chain or the watch of back in the day. So that's where that actually comes from. So some people don't realize that or whatever. But the reason why I got to say that is because there's different cultures and there are different black cultures in America. And then people try to downplay some, because that's too much. You get ashamed of it. That's how you got people who grew up from the country. He says, that's how you got people who grew up from the country and they wound up living in the city, and then they never went back to the country because they was acting like a shame. Or you got people who were from the hood in this city and they moved to this city, and then it's like, oh, they never quote unquote came back. Shark, you go off the chain. So that's what that's about. So when I say, sometimes we got whitewashed, that comes to even the way people cook now. Like, it's sad, but like I used to clown with people. I'm like, you can't be from the South and you can't cook, bro. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Like, man or woman at this particular point, you from the South, you from New Orleans, you can't make red beans and rice, you can't make gumbo, you can't make jambalaya, you can't make melaton, you can't make etouffee. You know what I'm saying? Something wrong with you. You got to make, you can't make dirty rice. You got something. You can't be from Chicago and you can't barbecue. If you're from Chicago and you can't barbecue, I don't know where you from. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know you. I can't talk to you. At least make pasta or something. So you can make it from scratch, but people don't make as much from scratch anymore. Because people don't cook like that anymore. Honestly, if you make something from scratch, you may get a gold prosthetic. Boy, you crazy. He'll say, if you don't do that, they'll rob you. They'll rob you. Exactly. That was the difference. Like, part of this Black experience is, when I said earlier, people wanted to be more corporate. Now we got away from a lot of the Black experience. Part of the Black experience was to be multifaceted. We used to be very, as a community, we were very multifaceted. That's why you had smart people who couldn't get jobs and wound up doing manual labor. So you could have a smart guy, wind up being a janitor. Somebody who could work in technology wound up being a mechanic. You get what I'm saying? Like, so we had that multifaceted thing because just the oppression and the racism in America. And now we got to the point where y'all got whitewashed to think that's a bad thing. Like, I need to be going this direction. I need to be this and just focus on that. And it's like, no, that's not good. That's not us. That's why you could, and shout out, watch this. Shout out to Shannon Sharp, right? Because even though Shannon Sharp then went to the league, he went to the Hall of Fame, and now he's a dope social media personality. I can guarantee you, if you dropped his ass on a farm right now, he'll know exactly what to do. I can guarantee you. If he had to get on a roof, he'll still know exactly what to do. Even if he had the bad hips or whatever, but I bet you he could still do it. And that's part of being, us, quote unquote, being whitewashed. We turned into, some of us thought we wanted to turn into white people and be lazy. And what I mean by lazy is this. Part of being an American is this idea of leisure. Like, to be an American, you have a leisure, luxurious life. And we as Black people, we never had a leisure, luxurious life. And it's cool to have leisure. It is. It's cool to have leisure time and luxury and all that. But the thing that is different is, if you see people who are used to leisure and luxury, you notice that they're lazy as hell. They don't know anything. And that's something that we're tripped out on. Because now you're seeing more people who want leisure and luxury, but they're lazy and they don't know anything. This is part of the issue when you see these I won't do 50-50 debates. Or you can talk to young brothers now, people can't change a tire now. That's a simple thing to do, right? It's because of the idea your parents that made you think you could have leisure your whole life, and now you're useless. We could be tired. I agree. We tired of being used, but at the same time, you got to use yourself too. I'm talking about people who we're not using ourselves. We're not using ourselves. When you got them people, I want a house, but I need a maid and I need a chef and I need somebody to cut the grass. Bruh, it is not that damn serious. You do not need a chef. You do not need a maid. That house ain't that damn big. You do not need somebody to cut your lawn. That y'all is not that damn big. The idea that we always got somebody on call to do something for us, that's whitewash now. Like, oh, let me, like, at some point we got to do stuff for ourselves. the irony, you see, we don't fish as much anymore. You know, we don't fish as much. We used to fish. We used to fish. The hunting people like. I'm not gonna front. Us as black people, we weren't really big hunters like that. We hunted out of necessity if you needed to, but we weren't hunting like that because I can tell you, unless you was in a country like that, it was a ridiculous thing to do. So you mean I'm gonna run out into the woods and I'm gonna shoot something for the fun of it? For the fun of it. You get what I'm saying? That whole, deer season and hog season, maybe deer season every now and then. But we used to be able to. We used to grow food. We don't grow food anymore like that. I ain't gonna front. I'm still heartbroken. I had an orange tree in the back, and the bitch died because of a winter storm. And I did everything I could to save it, but it just ruined it. Snake jerky. No, I ain't doing no that there. Anybody? And snake tastes like ham. I can tell you that right now, but depends on which kind. But we didn't hunt snake. We didn't do snakes like that. Exactly. And the reason why you don't do snakes like that because they don't like. A lot of times snakes aren't by themselves. Niggas don't want to be Mexicans anymore. Like if you have family members in the country, that's what the pig was for. That's what the pig was for. So if ever y'all go to the country and y'all see a pig pen, because a pig pen is basically a human not a human, but a garbage disposal. They eat anything. You usually put pigs by where you think a snake den is. So if you have like a farm, you have pigs, you have chickens. You put the pig where you see not a snake pen, but a lair, whatever you want to call it. When you think the snakes are, you put the pig there because pigs eat snakes. Pigs eat snakes, and even like poisonous snakes like rattlesnakes, copperhead, cottonmouth. They can't kill a pig because pigs don't have veins in their legs, so they can bite a pig, but it won't poison the pig. They just gonna eat the damn snake. So that's why you always would see a pig on a farm. That's what chickens are the same way. Chickens are scavengers just like pigs. Chickens are scavengers just like pigs. So for all you people, when y'all say to read the Bible, we're not supposed to eat scavengers, we're not supposed to eat catfish, and we're not supposed to eat shrimp and shellfish. Your ass ain't supposed to eat chicken too. Chicken's a scavenger. Chicken is a scavenger, buddy. It's not the fowl of the air. The chickens can't fly. They basically, chickens is just a poultry pig. That's it. Man, I ain't fucking with them wild hogs. I don't even know why people hunt wild hogs like that. Because usually they kill they try to kill the little babies. They don't mess with the adults like that, because when them adults start charging your ass, if you get hit with one of them tusks, that's your ass. And if y'all don't know, what is that? The Arizona Razorback. A lot of times hogs have tusks by the snout. That's why it's a bad idea to have a dog chase down a hog, because them attack dogs go for the neck, and by the time they get cut by the snout on them hogs, especially the wild hogs. But the wild hogs are actually more healthier to eat than the actual pig. The meat is better, just for the record. America ain't supposed to be eating chicken, but we eat chicken. Even the beef thing. Why people eating turtle? Shellfish are good. The reason why people told you not to eat shellfish, honestly, was because, yes, shellfish are scavengers. And you can see the correlation with shrimp and crawfish and roaches and lobster. That's quote unquote the roaches of the sea. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna still eat some crawfish every now and then. I don't care what y'all say. But the reason is because people used to dump their the human waste in the water, and who used to clean it, you know, you blame the shrimp, the crawfish, the lobster, the catfish because they're all on the bottom, so they're eating all of that stuff. But people forget one thing: that was oysters too. That's what oysters do. That's why, if you ever had a fish tank and you couldn't and you wanted it clean, you get that algae eater. That's basically a catfish. But all you know is all you do is put some oysters in the bottom of the tank. That'll filter out the tank. And that's what I mean by, sometimes we got whitewashed because it was simple stuff that we were taught back in the day that people don't teach nowadays. So for me, it's like, we doing too much. We doing too much when we think the white way to do everything is the right way to do everything. And even when you look at the country, if the white way to do things is right, well, why is this country in so much debt? Because it wasn't the right way to do things. Why are all these businesses, on the verge of closing and collapse? Because it's not the right way to do things. They don't do things the right way. The Black American experience, we were conservatives. And the key word to conservative is conserve stuff. We didn't have stuff to waste, so we had to learn how to conserve stuff. When you became whitewashed, we started becoming more and more wasteful. And being wasteful doesn't work for Black folks. It doesn't work at all. So we got to get better at that. No. I'm not even gonna say that's a Black thing. Like that's an American thing. America, yeah, that's what I mean. Oysters and clams, basically the same thing. Yeah. So that's the whole other part of it. Part of the American experience. And some of y'all, I'm gonna go back to this part about wasteful and conservative. For some of y'all, if y'all had grandparents in the 80s, maybe even 90s, a lot of times our grandparents used to live in the hood. They didn't live in the burbs. And when I say the hood, every hood wasn't just, terrible looking. Some hoods were just a regular neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of our grandparents used to live in the hood. And some of them still do to this day, if some of them are still alive. But if you remember something, at a certain point, your grandparents got old and they wasn't spending a whole lot of money, but they always had a gang of money on them. They always had a shitload of cash on them. Granddad would have an old truck and you'd be like, why you don't get another truck? Granddad got this janky ass truck. And he'd be like, but then granddad reach in his pocket, he'd be like, God damn, where he get that nigga got more money than a drug dealer. Grandma reaching her purse, like, because people used to save their money. The houses were cheaper, but the cost of living, people made less money. But roughly with the inflation, it was around the same, but people saved money. So people didn't buy a new this and a new that and a new this and a new that and a new this and a new that. They ain't waste money like that. Hell no. They was buying shit cash. That's where you get that old Chris Rock thing. $5. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Because we was cheap as hell. But now, this idea that I gotta be materialistic. We wasn't as materialistic. That's what I mean by part of being whitewashed. Your grandparents will look at you crazy. You spent $100 on some sneakers, and you got 50 pairs of $100. Well, I ain't gonna say 50. You got 15 pairs of $100 sneakers, nigga. But you don't even play basketball, boy. You don't even run. Like, you got them sneakers for working out, and you don't work out. Like, it was a completely different mindset. You're like, you too fat to have all them sneakers. You ain't using them right. It was different. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. That's Esau. But that's the premise of some of this. Like, we got whitewashed because we wanted to, live the American dream. And our grandparents and some of our parents were like, man, I ain't trying to live no goddamn American dream, man. Fuck them people. That's what that was. I ain't. Mm-mm. See, even after the civil rights movement, if you notice, a lot of black folks, we wasn't integrationalists like that. We wasn't, oh, finally the civil rights movement, we could be around. We're not doing that. No, thank you. I'm gonna stay in my neighborhood. Fuck all that. That's what's going on. So when I say, we got whitewashed, that's part of it. Part of us not understanding the importance of just, if you want to be free, you got to be free in your mind. You're not going. You can't you can't look for freedom in America. Like we didn't play that game. Hey, well, I ain't gonna front. Some of them natural remedies was on point, but some of them your ass was gonna die. Some of them people just making up shit. But like some of y'all don't realize, it's not sarsaparilla, eucalyptus. If you get the eucalyptus plant, that's basically, when people have like Vicks vapor rub and stuff like that's eucalyptus. People, when they didn't have stitches back in the day, that's what spider webs was for. I remember that stuff. They take a spider web, get a stick and roll a spider web around the stick until you get, nice there, and then pack it down, clean your wound, dress it up, and then pack it down in there and then wrap it around. That's an old country way to do stitches. Because then it would heal, My sugar low past the candy jar. See, that motherfucker had diabetes back in the day, boy. We got historical amnesia. Yeah, I mean, people don't realize, like, we moved a lot more. Like, we become a more, the more we got whitewashed, the lazier we got, and the more sedentary we got. You ain't see this many fat black people in your life. You ain't seen this many fat black people in your life. Yeah. Same thing with with aloe vera plants. Everybody know what aloe vera is for. What was the other? Come on. Eucalyptus, aloe vera, spider webs. I'm missing some shit. I'm missing a bunch of shit, actually. Oh man. That's how people started using compost. You take when people would have farms. That's how people learned about the banana peel and the orange peel. And you put that, you put it in the ground as fertilizer. That was that. Or you take the peels and you get the oil out of them, or you soak them or whatever. As cleaning material. My buffet. Oh, yeah, aloe vera. Yeah. Coffee was interesting. I didn't like. Well, see, I never liked the smell of coffee, so I couldn't mess with it in no capacity. The aloe vera juice, that's good for your stomach. And people don't know, like the same way you use it for your body. You can boil it, whatever. You drink it, that's good for your stomach. Oh, sugar. That's the other thing. Like, if you got hiccups, all you need to do is take like a teaspoon or a small teaspoon of sugar and just swallow the sugar. You stop the hiccups because the sugar breaks down the air bubbles. Don't be a fool and treat yourself like a Kool-Aid thing. But it's I hated castor oil. Jesus Christ, I hated castor oil. Oh my God, I hated castor oil. Or if you got bad breath, you could eat parsley. Like, if y'all don't like, if you can't find mints, if you can't find the mint plant, you can use parsley, because parsley is a mint. That's why if you bite it, you get that minty taste in your mouth. But it's the stuff that people got away from. Like, a lot of times you know, a lot of times people forget that damn, we know so many things, and we've had so many things in our lives that, you know, we forget about things. Ooh, nah, dog. I remember when you had to get the stuff out your finger and you had to burn a needle and use it, you know, to cut in the skin or whatever. That was a whole nother thing, boy. But a lot of this stuff, I would say that's partially our fault because we don't pass down information like we used to. Like that's part of the quote unquote being whitewashed. People thought, you know, those old school remedies and old school things to do, that was just like that's, you know, we found a better way to do things with technology and science and math. It's like nah, because some of the shit that the scientists do is the same old shit we used to do. Oh yeah, like even when he said silver, is that silver that you do that? I think so. Like you can not necessarily alkalize, but alkalize, whatever you want to call it. But basically, you can sterilize water with silver. Some of y'all, I mean, but you see, people don't have silver as much anymore. That's why they used to have. Some of y'all don't know. That's why they used to have those silver. That's why they had silverware. Silverware would sterilize things. They used to have the silver jugs and whatever because it was water. You could sterilize it with silver. You're right. Ooh, no, you don't need soap for that. You need magnesium, magnesium citrate or something like that. I want to say it's magnesium citrate, or it's not baking soda. It's magnesium citrate, but it's something else. It's something else. If you mix it, if you mix it with water, you're gonna be using the bathroom all goddamn night. It's natural. Magnesium sulfate. No, it's something else though. It's that's what it is. Oh shit. Epsom salt. Epsom salt. If you mix Epsom salt with water, that's a natural. You're gonna wind up. That's a diuretic for real. You're gonna be on the toilet all night. You be on the toilet all night. You ain't gotta mix a lot of it, but you just mix Epsom salt with water. That yeah, you're gonna be on the toilet all day. You know, things. You know, but this is what I mean by, you know, people don't, you know, that's a natural. It flushes you. Thank you. But it's, you know, these natural things. You know, people used to tell you eat to live. You know, that's why old school people. If a lot of y'all didn't know this, like I remember grandmothers, great grandmothers, grandfathers, they didn't smoke cigarettes like that. I know people don't realize that, but they smoke cigars because it was straight tobacco. And if they'll make a cigarette that was straight tobacco. They didn't put all those additives and stuff. You know, cayenne. You can use cayenne pepper to kill ants. You know, the only ones that you can't kill with that is fire ants. Fire ants, cayenne pepper ain't gonna kill them. But that's the same way. Like if you didn't have anything to kill ants or something like that in your house, and you didn't have cayenne pepper, you use grits. They eat the grits and blow up just like a bird would do with a bunch of rice. They eat. That's how you can kill a shitload of ants. Natural remedy. Dead ass serious. So, you know, and a lot of this stuff, you know, it's not necessarily trial and error, but we as a people, we got away from things like that because we thought, you know, we would never use it. You know, we'd never use this, we'd never use that. It's like, you know, that's the old way to do things, and you start realizing the old way to do things works. Because now, the older you get, you starting to have questions. And what I mean by questions is this. The reason why some of your family members die early, besides for quote unquote racism, was really because you had people who lived a very long time. You had people who lived a short time. You get what I'm saying? Some people had, stress and this, that, and the third. But what happened was, back in the day, that alcohol that they was drinking was straight fucking hooch. It was straight fucking hooch. Dead ass serious. Straight ass hooch. And if y'all don't know what that means, it was basically moonshine. That's why a lot of people die early, because that alcohol was strong as hell. That's why somebody made it. They only made it to 55 because it was a drinker. It wasn't the beer. It was the fucking alcohol. The tobacco wasn't that big of a deal. Tobacco started killing people when they started mixing, mixing those cigarettes with all that stuff. But that's a whole nother story. Like, you got to remember, people didn't work out like that. We kind of worked out because we played a lot. Slavery, that was basically a workout because it was a whole bunch of work. Jim Crow, we played a lot, because we needed to get burned off that. That's what the dancing was for. That's why even in the 2000s, and I'm sad it stopped, but a lot of girls used to go to the club as a workout. But people don't dance no more. All they do is dance. All they do is it, because you got whitewashed. Speaking of that, that's why the music has changed. That's why the music sounds the way it does, because you can tell by the music that our culture got whitewashed, because people ain't talking about nothing. People ain't really experiencing life. And I ain't even talking about the oppression in life. I'm just talking about life in general. The black life is completely different now. It's more applicable to white kids. And people thought that was a good thing, but now you're starting to realize it's not as good as we thought. Because what is being white doing to you? Nothing. And we should have known that by now. Honestly, we should have been known that, because let's just be honest. Be straightforward about it. What kills me is we never as a group wanted to be white people, but now it's so many people that do, that I don't know what to say. Y'all. Yeah. We did a bunch of different stuff. The community was different. Oh man, reggae music is the shit. I ain't lying. That's besides gospel music, I would say reggae is probably the most, as far as spirituality go. You could, like, it'd be gospel music, old gospel music, reggae, and probably soul. That was the shit. But you could tell the feeling is different. Bob Marley said, "What you mean rich?" I said, "I'm not rich like that." But it's just a different persona. That's all I'm saying. It's a different persona. Yeah, exactly. Hold up. Oh man. So I don't know if it was African. It wasn't African pride. It was just because. Well, I'm gonna say this too. I can't speak for the Caribbean, but I can speak for Black America by saying this. We really wasn't. Africa wasn't on our minds like people think. We would give Africa a lot of reverence. We learned a lot about Africa, but we've been really content in being Black Americans. Don't get it twisted. Like, we had, we had, love for Africa. It wasn't just Roots and Shaka Zulu. We had remember when Budweiser did the black thing in the 80s, where they had the wooden thing of Africa, and they have like different kings of Africa, and people have it in their house. We used to give reverence to it, but we were more so Black. It was like it was like we know somewhere down the line we come from Africa, but we from here. Soul Train at 106 in Park started going down here. Nah, Caribbeans didn't make Pan-Africanism. They didn't. Caribbeans got on Pan-Africanism after, us. Like we were really on Pan-Africanism, but I say us and predominantly Jamaicans, we have a similar mindset. I would say us and Jamaicans have a similar mindset. Marcus Garvey was Jamaican, but just because Marcus Garvey was Jamaican does not mean, he was the end all be all of Pan-Africanism. He deserves the love and respect for sure, though. He is one of the pillars of it, but it didn't start with him. It didn't. Yeah, I mean, that may be true, but we have we had a similar mindset. We really did. We thought, yeah, that's true. So, but that's a whole nother thing with people coming to this country. Like we didn't expect people to be whitewashed when they got here, especially black people. But now we're at that point. Ooh. That's the other thing about it. Like, we're not gonna disrespect. I ain't saying it's disrespect, but we're not big on disrespecting people. I think that has that. Now we'll clown a person, we'll roast a person, but that changed in Black America too. Like thinking that disrespect is gonna be tolerated. That's a whitewash thing too. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but there was a reason why. There's always been this reason why white people, in general, they have to be around a bunch of white people to feel like they can disrespect somebody black, because that was their backup. Because if they didn't have enough, like if you didn't have like 5-10 people with you, y'all might get fucked up. That's just the reality of it. So that's why to this day some of y'all don't really know. But if even when you're in the suburbs, that's why if you're a black man, you really don't feel threatened normally until they call the police, or till you see about 10 people. And white dudes hate that about us. They hate that we don't fear them like that. They that pisses them off. But they know, like, nah, we can't rock with them like that. See, but the thing about it is, some of us have gotten whitewashed to think that we could disrespect each other, forgetting like this could go bad. This could go bad. And even when we deal with other groups, that was an issue. Like, hey man, we better watch your tone, dog. Because people always believe that idea that, if I call the police on you, you're gonna run and hide. And it's like, no, what used to happen was, if you told me you was calling the police on me, I'm gonna knock your ass out right then, right there. You can't reach the phone, sleep. You know what I'm saying? So that was a whole nother thing. Yeah, I get that. But shoot, man, I've been on this bitch for 2 hours, man. Let me get my goofy ass out of here, man. Non-blacks try to treat. Yeah, but then they don't want no smoke like that. But let me get out of here, y'all, man. I gotta run a couple errands. I'm off today. I'll probably be back later on tonight or tomorrow. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. That was just on my mind. So I'm gonna put this outro out in peace. All right.
This looks like a job for Suburban.
Do this,
spoken from the lips of the young or the old, fear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way.
I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took the break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, cause when I talk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed clowns, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you still follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends is Justice League. Only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what? We had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke. Then again, it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I finished it.
Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you. Coming out. Listen. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.